Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another fresh take. I got with me the game I did. Got Andre.
Hey everybody, and I'm sorry y'all can't see me on camera at the moment. Just doing some things that have to be taken care of, but I didn't want to miss going over and reviewing this because this was kind of important. Plus, I want to keep a tradition.
Yeah. So, Castlevania season 4 on Netflix. We watched it. And we're gonna give you our thoughts about it. So what we're gonna do is the good, the bad, and where they can go from here. I don't really want to rate it, but I do want to just talk about it and go where we can go from here. I think I'm gonna do away with doing ratings because I kind of feel stupid doing them. So I'm not doing ratings anymore. I'm just gonna tell you what I think about it. So we're gonna start this off with the good. Now, if you've seen previous seasons, you already know what to expect. The animation quality is always on point. The fight choreography is really well done.
Beautiful.
They get better every season. I don't know what wizardry is this, but they do a very good job and they get better every season. And I think that should always be stated at the beginning of anything that you talk about with this, because that studio has done an excellent job. The voice casting. How did they get these people, man?
Look, I don't know where they found them from, but they better keep them around.
The reason why I say this, because we're talking about Bill Nighy, Malcolm McDowell. These are like A-list actors. These ain't no regular actors. Richard Armitage. He was Thorin in freaking The Hobbit. He is not. He's not a low level. He's not a regular voice actor. Is what I want to say. He's not like a regular voice actor. He's been in movies. Like a lot of the cast has been in other stuff. So, I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, dude, they do a very good job, and I have to give them kudos to that. Now, this season pretty much picks up about a week after season 3 ends, basically.
Well, technically it starts off 6 weeks after, but they give everybody a recap.
Yeah, because that's one of the things. It kind of at the first, I want to say 3 or 4 episodes, they kind of do a little jumping back and forth. They'll give you like 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but they do it with each character grouping. So you'll have Cypher and Trevor 6 weeks ago. You'll have Hector 3 weeks ago. You'll have Isaac 4 weeks ago. So it's that in the first 4 episodes. But it pretty much starts right where it left off. So if you're watching this, you're binging this, it's gonna be seamless if you binge it. If you haven't watched it before, it will be seamless. The other thing that I did enjoy about this season, the music.
Yes. The music was great. Actually, they remixed a lot of the songs from the games. If you listen to them, you can hear Vampire Killer, you can hear Bloody Tears, you could actually hear Simon's theme if you pay real close attention.
That's the one. Because I heard it and I'm like, I'm not crazy. Are they playing Simon's theme? Like, yeah, they play it twice.
I was like, they played the original Belmont theme.
Yeah. And they play it twice. They don't play it just once, they play it twice. So yeah, the music I like, although I really wish they would have did Bloody Tears for the penultimate episode's fight. I really wish they would have did just straight up play Bloody Tears and not a remix.
Yeah.
But
if they weren't going to do Bloody Tears, maybe do what song am I thinking of? Wicked Child. They could have done that.
Yeah, Wicked Child. Yeah. That's another one. Now I gotta ask you, man, who was your favorite character for the series for this season? I mean,
I'm not gonna bullshit you. It's been Trevor and it stayed Trevor.
It's Trevor. Okay. Well, another thing.
Well, no. You know what? I'm lying. If I'm gonna be really honest, I think Cypher took it this season for me.
Okay. All right. Well, I was gonna bring that up because one of the things that I liked and I thought it was funny was the running joke that everybody was like, "Oh my God, I'm turning into Trevor Belmont." Every time something bad happened and they start cussing everybody out or just going wildly violent, they'd say they're turning into Trevor. I'm like, wow, y'all really.
Well, y'all really gonna blame your actions on this man.
I'm like, okay, all right. Actually, my favorite character is ever since the second season, it's still Isaac.
He did have a lot of growth. They
Yeah.
gave him a lot of growth.
Like he's probably the best all around character of the entire series because he goes from one thing to straight up being, you know, a person with a complicated person, but actually not going off the rails crazy. I think the whole season 3 conversation with the captain actually calmed him down. Honestly,
yeah, it gave him a perspective.
Yeah, it gave him a little bit of clarity. I will say this: this is the season where I was reading an article, and the article was like, "Look, this is the season where the Simps became Chads." I'm like, yeah,
technically true.
Technically true. Hector got his spine back, and Saint Germain went full on. He went full on villain, which I got to give Bill Nighy props. He played Saint Germain very well, very.
Yeah,
he did that. He played that role well, and I actually the character grew on me to the point where when he does meet his story arc, I was kind of feeling a certain way about it. I'm like, yeah. But what are some of the things you liked about it?
Well, I did like you talked about Isaac's growth. I did like that he evolved as a character. He didn't stay stagnant, one track minded.
Mm-hmm.
He grew, he adapted. And yeah, I did like that Hector was playing them the whole time they had him basically in captivity. And I was like, I knew he was gonna do something.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed it didn't come to him and Isaac hitting the head and having a fight. But Isaac taking out Carmilla was a nice little fix for that.
Yeah. Oh, and Carmilla, she went full on Cersei Lannister. She's that woman with Cersei Lannister.
She did, but the whole time she was raging out. I'm sitting here thinking, like, even at Dracula's weakest, she wouldn't have beat him. I don't know what she was thinking.
Yeah, and I think, and that's another thing about this series that they did a good job of writing wise. They humanized the vampires.
Yes, they did.
They humanized them. I mean, because the lesbian couple that's part of their quartet, the warrior chick when she had her big fight scene against them villagers, when she came back in and realized they weren't soldiers, they were farmers, and she realized they're doing the same thing that we're trying to do, and then she realized how stupid it was for Carmilla to sit up and be like, for them to try to make Carmilla's plan work. I'm like, yeah, because it's logistic, like her girlfriend said, it's logistically impossible.
Yeah, she looked at it, she's like, man, I'd be fighting forever.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's not really warriors I'm taking on, it's just normal people.
That they're just trying to protect their one thing that they have, their piece of property. That's the only thing, their village. That's all they're trying to do. And when she thought about it, you can see like the way they did that scene was dope, because the fight scene when she was just wrecking them was awesome. But the scene after that, when she comes back inside and realizes she wasn't fighting soldiers, and that pissed her off even more, because she's like, these people can't fight.
It hurt her. It seemed more like it hurt her to her core. It's like, I just took out a bunch of helpless people.
Yeah. Like and then she realized they're just doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm like, there was a lot of good stuff about this, and I like the fact that everybody in her quartet was like, yeah, man, she crazy. They ain't no saving her. Even Lenore was like, yeah, and the only reason why Lenore was sticking with her because she knows she can't fight. Lenore knows she can't fight. And
not beyond normal people.
Yeah, and the funny thing about the whole thing with Carmilla was her whole reasoning was she wanted to take everything from men. Period. I'm like,
yeah, had she been ballsy enough to do it while Dracula was alive, she would have lost that fight.
Oh, she would have died. She would have died spectacularly.
She'd have died quickly. She wouldn't have beat. I can tell you right now, the top characters that she would not have beat. She wouldn't have beat Dracula. She wouldn't have taken out half of his circle, his inner circle. She wouldn't have beat half of that.
No.
She wouldn't have beat Trevor or Cypher, and she definitely wouldn't have beat Alucard. She'd have lost to all of them.
Yeah. When you realize what we're dealing with, because like, yeah, the way Isaac fought her was smart for Isaac, number one, because Isaac know what's up, but Isaac also wasn't stupid.
But
So,
Isaac is also human, so if she had that much trouble with him, she wasn't beating anybody else.
Yeah, and
not to say that Camilla was weak or anything.
No, she's not.
She tore off. She was crushing them.
Yeah.
But just looking at comparatively, if she had been in that fight with Trevor and Cypher and Alucard instead of Dracula,
she would
have been done quickly.
Yeah. And you got to remember, in the second season when they fought Dracula hadn't been feeding for what, a year?
It's been longer than that.
Yeah, like he just wasn't feeding. Not off blood, I should say. He ate, but not blood. Because that's the other thing they did. He
didn't replenish his power.
Yeah, that's the other thing they did go to the links to explain. They can eat regular food, but blood is what gives them their supernatural abilities. Which I was glad they actually said that. So, yeah, but Dracula hadn't done that for over a year, and it took all three of them to take down Dracula. And on top of that, Alucard had to be the one to finish him. Trevor couldn't do it.
Well, it wouldn't have made sense to let Trevor do it, to be honest.
It wouldn't have made sense, but well, he wasn't fast enough.
Yeah,
he wasn't fast enough.
In the long run, he just physically was incapable of doing it.
Yeah. So seeing Carmilla fight and seeing like her going just, excuse the expression, batshit crazy, it was like, okay. And the funny thing about it is, people were saying like, look, man, how did an animated show out Game of Thrones? And they did it with that little 4-episode stint in the middle of the season with Carmilla, Hector, Isaac, and Lenore, and her coven.
Mm-hmm.
All I could do was now. So we got to get to the stuff that we didn't like. I didn't like the fight with Death.
It did seem like that happened way too quick.
Yeah, I didn't like. Now I liked the reveal of Varney as Death because I'm like, that's Malcolm McDowell. I'm like, he always plays a bad guy, and y'all making him like, oh, I get it. So
he was the unsuspecting final boss.
But and don't get me wrong, I liked the way they choreographed the fight. I just think it didn't work because one, yeah, I knew what artifacts he was finding, but the average viewer that don't play the games or know anything about the lore, they don't know what the hell he do. Like, why'd you get that dagger?
Nope.
Why'd you get that ring? Why'd you get that jewel? Why'd
I
you
was
get
like,
that
when I saw it, I was like, oh, he picked up the magical dagger, then he picked up the magical cross. I was like, oh, yep. they throwing their lore.
But you're not explaining it. So, like I said, the average viewer who's watching this, they don't understand what that is. And then, and then you just have them. Don't get me wrong. The fight scenes are great, but you got to remember one very important thing: Cypher and Trevor are human. They have stamina issues. They should have stamina limitations. They can't just run through a fight after fight like that.
No, they shouldn't be able to, but apparently they found a way.
And Cypher, she was so OP. I'm like, God, dog, Cypher.
No, it was like the moment she got mad, everything ceased to matter.
Yeah, physics included. So, I mean, that was my only real complaint about it was like that fight with Death. I'm like, dude, I like it, but it doesn't make sense, and you didn't explain it.
They didn't. I do have one other smaller gripe, and that's more so just some of the dialogue because they had modernism from today in the dialogue.
Yeah.
Now, if we're thinking about the time period, you don't want to use modern dialogue issue. You don't want to use modern issues to run dialogue for that type of time period.
Yeah, you don't.
It just doesn't fit.
You know, I understand modernizing it a little bit so you don't have to talking like you're Shakespearean. I get that, but at the same time, the amount of f bombs they start dropping and start talking, I'm like, okay, bro, come on, man, don't nobody talk like that. It's like last season when you see like them wearing the 15th and 16th, 17th, 18th century nightwear, and then all of a sudden you see Lenore with lingerie on. And you're like, what the
like, where did this come from?
Like, did she go to the future and go shop at Frederick's Hollywood or something and then come back? I'm like, how did... So yeah, I get that. I get that because that was one of my complaints from last season. I'm like, y'all are mixing stuff. You probably shouldn't mix it. Other than that, though, I really think the season worked. It worked as a fitting little end to Trevor and Cypher's story. Although the last episode, I will understand if people don't like it because they don't explain how certain things happen. I don't want to say anything because this is a very huge spoiler. So I'm not going to say what it is, but they do not explain it. And I cannot say anything to people that have an issue with that because you are absolutely right. They do not explain what happens to a couple of characters in that last episode. They tried to they tied things off
together.
Yeah, they tied things off a little bit too neatly. Now, that being said, I do think it's worth a watch, especially if you are a fan of animation. It is not for kids, so parents, I'm letting you know it's not for kids, but not one season has been for kids. So if you let your kids watch this, that's between you and whatever deity you serve. But I think that as far as a video game adaptation, it's the best one we've ever had. Hands down.
Yeah, so far.
It's the best one we ever had. So I would tell people, especially if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you started gaming in the 90s especially, I think you'll find something to like with this because they do a very good job with it. Now, where could they go? Because we already know that, yes, this is the end of Trevor and Cypher's story, but now we know that Netflix did approve of more stories in the Castlevania verse. They should go Simon next. And
yeah, they should.
And seeing as how they did not bring Grant Dynasty in, Grant should be along with him. That's just my take on it. If you're gonna do it, because Simon didn't have anybody helping him out, did he? I can't remember. I don't think he did.
No, he really.
Like Richter did. Richter does. I think everybody else does. Richter does. Soma Cruz does. I think everybody else do, but Simon doesn't. So if you didn't use Grant, which it shouldn't have been Alucard, it should have been Grant. If you put Grant with Simon, okay, for their story, all right, fine, because they're gonna have to make some tweaks anyway. Because if they go by what happens in the post-credit screen, they're gonna have to make some changes when they do Simon, because I think the proper thing to do is do Simon, because Simon is the mascot of the series essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. Trevor didn't make it into Smash. Simon did.
Simon and Richter did.
Yeah, Simon and Richter made it into Smash. Trevor didn't. Just saying. No hate. Just saying. But any other thing you think they should focus on for the next series?
Hold on a second. My connection just kind of slipped.
Okay.
What did you say?
I said, where do you think they should go for the next round?
Give me 2 seconds. I'm moving around, and I think my signal's bouncing. Give me just like 5 seconds. I should be stable.
Gotcha.
Okay, there we go. That should be good. It was like I was just watching my signal bounce.
All right.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. And I probably think you can't hear me. So I guess I'll just keep going then. Yeah, I think they should go with Simon next. Just to, I guess to try to keep it where because I don't know how in the timeline they're going to do this because it's all kind of jacked up just because of how they did this series. This series kind of had a lot going with it. So, hey, you back?
Yeah, it kicked me, but there we go.
All right. So, I think they should go with Simon just because of I think that he's the most notable character in the series, and because they jumbled a lot of stuff up doing this one, I think that's the best thing to do because I don't think too many people know about any of the other stuff. Unless you started playing the Aria and Dawn of Sorrow games, they may want to do that one. But okay, looks like you got dropped again. When he gets back in, I'm gonna try to have him give his take, and then we'll probably just wrap it on up. But yeah, I there are a lot of games to choose from. There are a lot of games to pick if you wanted to go a certain way. So I don't know how I would go about, going with the next one, but I would probably start with Simon. Probably give that 2 seasons, and then probably try to move on to like Richter or something else. Andre, you good? Andre?
Like Google Hangouts used to. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so I'm gonna let you
like Google Hangouts used
to. Hey man, don't jinx this, man. So I wanted to let you give the wrap up. So where do you think they should go next? If they go Simon or Richter or whatever, who do you think they should go with next?
One second. Okay. Now I got a more stable connection. Here we
go. Okay.
Okay. Where can they go for the last bit? My opinions on it.
I mean, where could they go next for the next round of? Because we know they're getting another series, I should say. So where do you think they should go? Who do you think they should go with next? I'd say Simon and then go into Richter. But what about you?
No, I could actually agree with that. I was going to say Simon and Richter because, I mean, there's other side characters they could do, like Christopher and a couple others, but they didn't really hold main points in the story. And Simon and Richter are like the biggest Belmont in the whole overall story of Castlevania.
Yeah. They got the better stories anyway. I mean, if we're being completely honest. So, and I would probably just give Simon like 2 seasons and give Richter 2 seasons and go from there.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you actually go by how they did this, Castlevania should have was only going to be like 3 seasons because the first 2 seasons are basically the first season is only 4 episodes. The second season is 8, so it's basically season 1A and season 1B, and then you got season 2 and seasons 3 and 4 are basically seasons 2 and 3. So, I mean, the way I would do it, just give them 10 episodes a pop and just do 2 seasons with Simon and 2 with Richter. And I don't think I would bring in Alucard in the Simon stuff, but I would probably bring in Grant because Grant should have been with Trevor and Cypher, and they just didn't do that. I'll bring Alucard back with Richter.
Well, he popped up with Richter, popped up again with Richter anyway, him and Maria, so it makes sense.
So I think that's how I would do it. But all right, people, that's going to be it for this little discussion. Leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think about Castlevania Season 4. Let us know where you think it could go. And sorry for the technical difficulties, but hey, that's what happens when you go live, right? So hope you guys enjoyed it.
It treated me like Google Hangouts did.
And that's why you love us, because that's why we wing it. Because we just have to go with it sometimes. So don't forget to watch the Winging It podcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got some good topics for you tonight. And also, if you want to check out some gameplay from the Scarlet Nexus demo, check out the gaming channel. I did a live stream yesterday afternoon, and I'm also going to post up some gameplay of Kasane's character from the demo. So be sure to check that out. Andre, anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
Look, I just got a bunch of videos on my channel. Like, if anybody wants to hear my thoughts on the stupidity behind the everybody losing their mind about the Legend of Zelda
Oh yeah, that.
Lost Wing Amiibo, go
Yeah.
ahead. That's over there. And I got a couple videos that is just gameplay if people are interested in just watching me play games. Thunder Force 5 and Turok 2 were the ones that I just posted, I think, like an hour or so.
Okay. All right. So go over there, check those out. And we'll see you guys later on tonight and on our next Fresh Take. Peace out, peeps.
Peace, everybody, even though you can't see me.